Welcome back to the Bear Trap, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today doing a recap of our first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. Yes, football is back. Chicago Bears are back. It's exciting to kick it off and just, even though it's preseason, it's exciting to get the stuff started. So anyway, before we get started, just a reminder, if you want to check out the Patreon, I started the campaign. Go to the comment or description section, check out the website. Consider supporting the channel financially. Also, we're all Bears fans, so if we agree or disagree, let's do it respectfully. All want the Bears to win. Now, this is a recap of the first three quarters. Let me put that out there first. Last year, I did it all the way through for the most part to the last few minutes. But, especially for the first game, it's all kind of the same stuff. So, I watched all three quarters and then the last of the drive in the fourth quarter. So anyway, if I missed something that happened in the fourth quarter, feel free to put it in the comment section. So with that being said, not a whole lot. I think last year was totally different. I mean, it was a unique situation last year. You had a first-time coach. All right. You had a brand new offensive, system that was supposed to be not just new to us, but new to the NFL, and trying to see how a young quarterback adjusted. You had Khalil Mack in the big trade. You had a first round top 10 pick and a holdout, all types of stuff. This year, I think we brought back so many starters that we don't have as many questions. And so I don't think there's as many things that we have to look for, personally for me. But of course, I already talked about the top three guys that I'll be watching the most and some of my general thoughts on them, and then my thoughts on the Bears in general. Number one person I brought up was that wasn't the first person I brought up. It was David Montgomery. But Alex Bars, the left guard from Notre Dame. Here's what I say. I really liked Bars today against the Panthers, but I really like Mustipher better, the center from Notre Dame. I like the two together. You could tell that they obviously have chemistry. They know when to switch off. They know when to help. They are very good at help blocking and double teaming together. I didn't see quite the same chemistry with the other guards in Mustipher. But the thing that Mustipher showed me is he's willing to move his feet. And that's a huge thing when it comes to linemen, defense or offense. Neither one of them are super athletic, but Mustipher is willing to work and to move his feet and to keep staying in front of a block. Alex Bars, not so much. Now, I know there's talk about his knee, and so I don't know if, that's the issue, but I watched him in college, and it's safe to say, even when healthy, he's not, some extremely athletic guy. So for me, I look at Alex Bars and Mustipher, and they're power players. It's interesting because they're very vastly different than our starters. When you're talking about James Daniels and Whitehair, and even to an extent Cal Long, those calling cards are athleticism. Not, as far as alignment goes. They can reach block. They can get out in space and block. Mustipher and Bars are very different. They're very much built in the Quinn Nelson frame. If you think about Quinn Nelson and kind of what he does with the Colts and kind of what the power spread they had at Notre Dame, that's more what Alex Bars and Mustipher are for. And they can tangle it up. I think they both got good power. I like the strength, the core strength, all that. They tangle it up at the line of scrimmage, but as far as recovering off getting beat by speed or getting out in space, no, those aren't their strong suits. So it's interesting because they're just so vastly different than what our starters give us. And so I'm interested to see. And I think, with Notre Dame is shown, if you got a lot of speed at the skill position, you can have power offensive linemen that aren't running downfield, making blocks in space and all that. You really just need them to take care of the line of scrimmage and do the dirty work. So I was actually more impressed by Mustipher. David Montgomery, the thing is, and people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to say it because better Bears fans, we got to understand. He is our top pick of the draft. The stuff he's going to do by the media, by the announcers and everything is going to be fluffed up more. You just have to understand that. If we had a first and second round pick, Montgomery would not be talked about as much. That's just the facts. And so it's not to say he's not good. It's not to take away anything from him. It's just understanding that the positive spin is in the preseason. And so while I definitely think there were some things to talk about, we didn't see a whole lot. I mean, and so we just got to continue to watch. And even what we saw, again, is not against top-level competition. So for me personally, I've always said running backs is one of the hardest one to predict. Le'Veon Bell completely shattered the mold because if you watch Le'Veon in Michigan State, that's a completely different player. So running backs have learned that shedding weight, working on explosion, all that can completely change a game. So you never really know what you get with running backs. David Montgomery, I think, looks very similar to college. But you got to understand you're going up against a top level. And I know I had a whole backlash with people trying to fight me on what I said, even though I didn't say nothing crazy. I just think watching him tonight, watching, what I know from football, is pretty much what I expected. Like, yeah, he's definitely got juice. He's definitely got wiggle. But it's not the same competition. And so you see one of the first plays he gets in the open field, he's going up against a backup corner who takes him down. And it's not to say that he can't beat somebody later on or anything like that. It's just to say that the frequency of what you did in college is not going to be the same in the NFL. With that said, you still have his positives. You have the vision. You have the juice, but you also have the power. I said in that video, he's a nice mix between what Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen gives us. So I like that. Mike Davis, again, not I don't feel anything special, but he's just more of a veteran. But I think Dave Montgomery 100% is going to take that spot. So I'll be interested to see what he does more as we continue to see him have plays in the offseason. Duke Shelly. He was at slot pretty much the whole time. I like what I saw. He moved well, which young athletic guys, they should move well. With a lot of corners actually are stiff coming out of college. He moved very well, good enough to me to move in that slot position. But also I like the toughness and the gamemanship. He wanted to go make tackles. He wanted to play. And that's the other thing, like talk about with Bryce. Everybody's talking about a passing league, about slots being able to cover, but you also got to play the run. And I like that he has good speed and instincts, and he wants to go hit the ball carrier, and he doesn't shy away from that contact. So I really like that. I think the attitude is there, and I'll be interested to see more, especially from Buster Screen, to see just how good he actually is for us. And if not, I think Duke Shelly has a legit chance to open up some eyes this preseason and creep up that depth chart behind Buster. So there we go with that. And those are the three guys I was kind of talking about. Outside of that, did anybody stand out to me? Not really, to be honest with you. Besides Mustafa, who I mentioned, I didn't see a whole bunch. I mean, offensively, Rashad Coward, still bad. I mean, he might be better than he was last year, but he's bad. He's not a good offensive lineman. Ted Larson, I think he's a solid vet, but much like Alex Barsnell, not a whole lot of athleticism. Receivers, I think we're deep. I mean, we're deep with a bunch of B-level receivers, and then your B-plus receiver with Allen Robinson, and so nothing shocking there, to be honest. Quarterback, nothing there. Nothing too surprising, nothing that I saw, at least. From the tight ends, I know a lot of people talking about tight ends. I don't think I saw anything special. Defensive-wise, there's a gap. And you know what? I'm starting to turn the corner on the whole use Isaiah Irvin and Kylie Fitz instead of Leonard Floyd train. Like, to me, if I want to play my Madden hat, I traded Leonard Floyd for a pick, and then I picked up Nick Perry, who I think has better upside. And he's still a free agent. Now, that's where I would go. If you're talking about just getting rid of Leonard Floyd and just letting Kylie Fitz and Isaiah Irvin take over, I don't know if I believe in that as much. They just don't have the athleticism. There's a steep drop-off in athleticism at a lot of our positions. And so one thing with the NFL is that being an athlete does help you one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it helps you. So looking at the pass rush, I'm just like, I still like Isaiah Irvin's juice and would like to see him a little more. But overall, yeah, we don't really have much behind Floyd. So that is what it is. Defensive line, I think we have a great rotation. Nick Williams is in there now. I think it got even better. I like our rotation on the D-line. Not at all surprised by that. Secondary, I mentioned Duke Shelly. Outside of that, I don't know about this Duck dude. The dude is super small. I mean, he would just get picked on by big receivers all day. Not sure so much about him. Joseph looked all right. I mean, it's hard to do, without all 22 film. And plus, they're going against lower ranked competition. But I think they all move a lot more athletically than Prince. I'll say that. And not to knock Prince, I still think he's our best option so far. Like, I don't think I would put Duke on the outside. And I didn't really see a corner that excites me a whole bunch. Joseph is interesting. We didn't see Kevin Tolliver play, who's probably the next in the pecking order after Prince. So not a whole bunch there. And safety, huge drop off. I mean, look, we'll see what happened with Clint Dix in this preseason. So I'm not going to fault him, but he looked like he didn't want no part of the run game or anything else. And I know he's been hurt and it's the preseason. So we'll see what he does in the regular season. But man, I really, but even outside of our starters, like there's no Adrian Amos. And it's not like, oh, he's just assignment sound and he can play the run. Whoop-de-doo. Well, show me the other safety on the team that can do that. We know Clint Dix is more of a cover guy. He's a free safety trying to play strong safety. But then after that, show me the other guy. Deion Bush, tweener. McManus, journeyman, tweener. Houston Carson, tweener. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know that we have any enforcement in that secondary, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But that front seven is pretty ferocious, so that's what we got to lean on. But yeah, so outside of that, I saw Karif White get a little nice bounce out. He's fast. That's what he's going to do. We didn't see Emmanuel Hall a whole bunch, which I was kind of upset about. We saw Marvin Hall. There was a mix-up. If you heard the announcers, they called him Marvin Hall, then they called him Emmanuel Hall, saying he's from Mizzou. It was 13 is Marvin Hall. Emmanuel Hall is 6, and so we didn't see Emmanuel Hall. He's 6'3". You would have noticed. So I'm interested to see him more, Riley Riley, and all those guys. But again, the competition is low, so it's hard to evaluate. So don't get too excited. But anyway, that's it for me. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the Bears preseason game, who you had your eye on, all that good stuff. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around. Yeah, get the conversation started. Sorry, I blanked out there. And remember, stay up and bear down.